Well, many Canadians were already living paycheck to paycheck or dealing with debt before COVID-19 hit the world. And now debt health professionals are predicting even more people will be pushed towards financial hardship. And joining us now is Blair Manton from Sands & Associates. Good morning, Blair. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. My pleasure to be here.
So many people, of course, are struggling to pay the bills and are taking on increased debt. Have you seen an increase in people contacting you in recent weeks?
Well, it's interesting. We've seen an absolute increase in the number of people reaching out for help. And, we're doing a lot of meetings, calming people down, telling them, focus on the immediate right now. Actual filings have declined across Canada massively. So, April was very slow. March was very slow. And that just makes sense because people are focused on other things. But yeah, we're getting a lot of increase these days for sure.
We've been reporting a lot of scams happening out there. How important is it for people to stay informed during this pandemic?
That's hugely important, Jason, because things change all the time. The government, to their credit, they're really trying to react in real time. They're modifying programs, so you need to make sure you know what's going on. But the scammers haven't taken the day off, so you need to be aware. Just because the caller ID might say Government of Canada doesn't mean that it is Government of Canada phoning you. And I've had people call me saying, someone wants to help me apply for these emergency benefits. Do I need their help? Should I give them personal information? The answer is no, you don't need the help, and no, you should never give personal information. Just go direct to the government for the current programs that are going on right now.
A lot of people are in panic mode, and you could appreciate that given the situation. So they're looking to sell RSPs or assets to pay off their debt. What's your advice when it comes to that?
My advice is to stop, think, and get some good advice before you make a really critical decision like that. It's almost never a good idea to start cashing in your RRSPs. If you need it for living expenses, okay, maybe. But for debt, it's almost always the wrong decision. Even if the worst were to happen, you had to restructure yourself completely through a bankruptcy or through a proposal, RRSPs are you're going to lose them if you cash them in yourself. So if you're thinking of something drastic like that, give a call to someone who can give you some advice. And generally, it's going to be to save your retirement for when you actually need it.
Okay. Well, how about getting deferrals on rent or mortgage or other bills? Is that an avenue to explore?
Absolutely. There's certain actions that you need to take. And the first one is to start to communicate with your creditors. So if you've had no income interruption at all, well, you're in the minority these days and you're fine. But for a lot of people, just reaching out to your landlords, to your banks, to your mortgage holders, a lot of them have really good deferral programs in place right now. Speak to them before you have to miss a payment. You might be surprised how accommodating they're willing to be in the short term.
And finally, you suggest having bank accounts at different institutions if you owe debt. Why is that?
Well, so there's a little bit of reassurance in that right now, the world has come to a bit of a standstill, and especially in the court situation, you can't be sued for a debt right now in the province of BC. So if you're getting collection calls or threatening those are completely empty threats. That can't happen right now. What can happen is if you are banking where you also have a credit card or a bank loan and you start to miss some payments on that loan or credit card, your bank can seize those payments. So it's a best practice for everyone. Don't bank where you have debt. You'll always be safe. It would take a court action to touch your funds if you're not banking where you owe money.
Really good information this morning. Blair, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Blair Manton from Sands & Associates.